The ship floated in silence between two dying suns inside the control room. Kai stood with his hands on the glowing console, his eyes locked on a new signal pulsing from the edge of a forbidden sector. Sarai watched him from behind with a look that held both pride and fear. She had seen many humans, but none like him, none who could open the vault, none who could touch the memory chair and survive. The ship had changed since the vault opened. New lights came alive. Doors once sealed were now open. The ship remembered, and with memory came new paths, new questions. New danger. Kai turned to her with a question that had burned in his mind for hours. Why were humans erased from galactic history? Sarai did not answer right away. She walked slowly to a glass panel that showed the stars outside. Her voice was soft when she spoke because they were too strong, too wild, too unpredictable. They could not be controlled. And those in power feared what they could not control. Kai looked at her with disbelief. We were ruled by others, or were we equal? She shook her head. It was not about rule or equality. It was about fear. When humans rose, others fell. When humans built, others lost control. So they gathered all the great houses, all the ancient species. They made a pact to lock the humans out, to erase their name, to bury their worlds and silence their stars. Kai clenched his fists. His mind raced memories from the vault, still fresh. He saw the betrayal, he felt the burning skies, he heard the screams of forgotten worlds. What now? He asked. What do we do with this truth? Sarai looked at him with eyes that held galaxies. That is for you to decide. I was sent to guide, but the path is yours. You can rise and reclaim, or you can leave and forget. The ship beeped. A new signal appeared from a planet long banned, a world once called Seraphis, now marked with a red cross in every galactic chart. Kai pointed at it. We go there. Whatever they tried to hide, it is waiting. The ship turned, its engines hummed with power. Stars blurred around them, and then the Erevetserafis was dark, covered in ash. The surface cracked like old skin. Lightning danced in purple skies. Ruins of cities lay half buried in dust. They landed near a massive dome, its doors covered in alien bones. No wind, no sound, only silence. Kai stepped out first. His boots touched ground that had not known footsteps for centuries. Sarai followed her movements, careful. She had been warned never to return here. This place held more than secrets, it held pain. They entered the dome. Inside were statues carved not from stone but from a crystal that pulsed with light. Each statue showed a human, some holding weapons, some holding peace tokens, some standing with alien eyes, all of them forgotten. In the center of the room stood a platform. It held a single cube floating above metal hands. Kai reached out, but Sarai grabbed his arm. Wait. She said, that is the echo core. It holds voices from the last war. Once you touch it, they will not stop. You will hear their last moments. You will feel what they felt. Kai nodded. He stepped forward, touched the cube. A storm of voices exploded in his mind. Cries of soldiers, laughter of children, orders from commanders, last messages from lovers, all speaking at once, all begging to be remembered. He dropped to his knees. Tears fell from his eyes, not for himself, but for them, for the lost, for the betrayed. The cube dimmed. The voices faded. Only one remained, a single voice, a woman. She spoke with calm and power. If you hear this, then you are the last. The chain is unbroken. The fire still burns. Do not forget us. Do not let them write over truth. The message ended. Kai stood slowly, his body shaking, but his eyes clear. They were real. Their fight was real, and now it is mine. Sarai walked to him, placed a hand on his shoulder. You carry more than memory. Now you carry duty. Kai looked at the stars through the dome's cracked roof. He whispered a promise to the ones who came before. I will not let them win. Not again. They left the dome. The ship welcomed them, its engines ready, its purpose clear. As they rose from Seraphis, the stars seemed to burn brighter. The past was no longer silent, and the future waited with open hands. Asterisk. The ship flew through black space faster than light. Kai sat in silence, his mind still holding the pain from the voices of Seraphis. He closed his eyes. He saw their faces, their memories, their final hopes carved in crystal, and he carried them now, every single one. Sarai stood near the star map. Her fingers moved slowly across glowing points. She spoke without turning. We have one last place to visit. A station hidden deep in the Veil sector. Only 3 people alive know about it. You and I are 2 of them. Kai looked at her, his eyes full of questions. He trusted her, or he wanted to, but a whisper from deep inside warned him to stay ready, to listen to more than just her words. The ship entered the Veil. Clouds of red and silver gas swirled around them. Strange lightning flash sensors blinked. The ship's voice spoke calmly, approaching unknown vessel shield level falling. Prepare for contact. Kai jumped to the controls. Sarai looked shocked. She turned to the screen. A ship appeared behind them. Black, silent, no lights, no ID signal, but it moved. With purposes that Kai asked. Sarai stepped forward, her voice calm, but from I do not know, they should not be here. This route is not on any chart. The dark ship fired a blast of energy, hit their shields. The ship shook, alarm screamed. Kai pulled hard on the controls. The ship dodged another blast, but the enemy was fast, too fast. Sarai sat beside him. She touched the panel. New controls appeared hidden before, now active. Let me help, she said. Kai nodded. Together they moved, one mind, one machine. The ship spun through the gas clouds. Its hull glowed with energy, but the dark ship followed, each shot closer, each move more deadly. They needed to escape. Kai spotted a path through a thick storm of red plasma. It was dangerous, but it could hide them. He turned the ship, dove into the storm. Blinding light, flash, noise filled every space. For a moment they were weightless, lost in silence. The enemy was gone. The ship floated in a quiet pocket of space, small, safe for now. Kai leaned back, sweat on his face's heart racing. Who were they? Why did they attack us? Sarai looked away, her voice low. They were not supposed to find us. Someone told them. Someone gave them our path. Kai stared at her, his voice sharp. Who would do that? Only we knew. The course. She said nothing, her eyes on the floor. He stood, anger rising. Did you tell them? Are you leading me into a trap? Sarai looked up, tears in her eyes. Real, not fake. I did not, I swear. But someone from my side does not want this truth out. They think if you learn too much, you will break the balance. You will start a fire they cannot stop. Kai paced, his thoughts racing. Could he still trust her? Was she a friend or just a tool sent to use him? The ship beeped again. A message played, not from the dark ship, but from the hidden station ahead. A voice came through, cold and clear. Human pilot, you are not welcome here. Turn back or face destruction. This station does not serve your kind. Kai looked at Sarai. She looked shocked. That message, it should not exist. The station was made for peace, for secret talks, not war. Kai made a choice. He turned the ship toward the station. He would not run, not now. As they flew closer, the station became visible, large, covered in weapons. It was not a place of peace anymore. The ship dodged warning shots. They sent a final message. This is your last warning. Kai opened the ship's com. This is Kai, human pilot. I seek answers. I carry voices from Seraphis. I will not leave. There was a long silence. Then the weapon stopped. A new voice spoke. Enter, but know this, not all inside want you to live. The ship landed. The doors opened. Sarai and Kai stepped out. Guards waited, aliens in armor, guns ready. They were led inside, down dark halls to a room with a round table. Leaders from many worlds sat there, old, wise, and full of fear. An alien with green eyes spoke first. You should not be here. The past was buried for a reason. Kai stepped forward, his voice steady. You buried truth to protect power. I have seen what you fear, and I will not be silent. Gasps filled the room. Sarai stood beside him. She placed her hand on his. Stand with him, even if it means I fall with him. The leaders stared, silent. The game had changed. The storm had started. The air inside the station turned cold. The silence around the round table grew heavy. Kai stood still, his heart beating like war drums. Sarai beside him kept her hand on his. The leaders watched, their faces hard, their eyes sharp. None of them spoke for a long moment. Then the green-eyed alien rose from his seat, his voice deep and full of warning. If you truly open the vault on Seraphis, if the ship accepted you, then you have touched what none of us could. That makes you dangerous, or maybe something worse. Kai looked him in the eye, no fear in his voice. I came for answers, not for power, but I will not walk away without the truth. Another alien stood, this one older, her skin glowing like fire. The truth you seek is buried in the core, the heart of the ancient UFO. It lies beneath a forgotten moon, guarded by machines, cursed by memory. If you go there, you might not return. Kai nodded without hesitation. Then that is where I must go. The council began to argue. Voices rose, warnings flew like arrows. Sarai spoke loud above them. All he was chosen. You all knew this day would come. You buried history. You locked the past. Now the lock is broken. Let him finish what was started long ago. The council fell quiet again. The green-eyed alien sighed, then handed Kai a silver disc. This will show you the path, but it will not protect you. The core tests, all and none, have passed. They left the station. The ship waited, lights glowing with silent power. Once inside, Kai placed the silver disc on the map panel. A new Route appeared far beyond the known systems, past old war zones into the dark. They followed it for hours. Stars vanished, silence deeper than before filled the ship then. It appeared a moon with cracks like lightning floating near a giant dead planet. Beneath its surface lay the core. The ship landed near an old gate half buried in black stone. Strange machines moved around it, guardians left behind by an unknown race. Kai stepped out. The machines stopped moving, red eyes turning blue as if they recognized him. He walked through them, unafraid, Sarai behind him, her eyes wide. She had never seen the machines obey anyone. They entered the gate. Inside was a long tunnel, walls covered in glowing symbols. Each step forward lit more of the past. At the end stood a chamber, huge, silent, and in its center a throne, but not for a king, for a pilot. Kai walked to it. The seat, shaped like the one on the ship, made of metal and memory. He sat. The chamber reacted, walls shifted. Light poured in and a deep sound filled the air. The voice of the UFO. You are the spark, you are the link, you are the return. Images flashed before his eyes, not dreams, not lies, but real humans flying with other species. Battles fought side by side, then betrayal. Humans locked away, their ships destroyed, their names wiped clean. One seeing showed the very chamber he now sat in. Another human sitting where he sat. That human looked just like him. Same eyes, same fire. Kai leaned forward. The core spoke again. This vessel is bound to you. Its heart sleeps until your voice wakes. It speak now. Kai spoke with strength. I will carry their memory. I will protect what was lost. I will finish what they could not. The chamber opened. The floor shook, and from the ground rose a new ship, larger than any Kai had seen, made from the same strange metal shaped like wings of fire. Sarai stared in awe. This is the true ancient UFO, not the one you flew. That was only its shadow. The new ship, open, light shining like dawn. Kai stepped inside. The walls responded to his presence, panels lit with his thoughts, engines ready to obey. Sarai joined him, her voice full of wonder. This ship was made for war, but it could also bring peace. What will you choose? Kai looked at her. Then at the stars beyond. I will choose what they deserved: justice, truth, freedom. The ship lifted, power like thunder filled the sky. The old machines watched in silence. They rose into space. A signal echoed from the ship, not just data, but a call to every hidden system, to every buried beacon, to every survivor of truth. The ancient UFO was awake again, and it flew under the command of a human. Asterisk. The ancient UFO flew like a beast freed from chains. Its engines sang across the void. Its light reached corners where hope had died. Kai stood at the center of the control deck, his hands resting on panels that moved with his thoughts. Sarai watched him from the side, her heart heavy, her face calm. But inside her silence something broke. She had seen the messages, she had heard the counsels. Whispers. Not all wanted peace, not all wanted truth. Some had already sent a command, a strike order to end him, to end the ship, to end the last link to the forgotten humans. Kai turned to her, his voice low but clear. They fear this ship, they fear me. Sarai nodded slowly. She did not lie. Yes, they do. They fear what you now hold. They fear what it means if you stand strong. They fear your voice. The ship glowed brighter. A new alert flashed across the display. An incoming fleet, ships from many worlds, all weapons armed, all heading straight toward them. Kai stared at the screen, his jaw tight, his mind racing. They want to stop me before I speak. Before I reach the neutral broadcast station. Sarai stepped forward, her voice softer. You can still change course. Hide, disappear, live. Kai shook his head. No, if I hide now, I betray those who died. I betray the message. I betray myself. The fleet came closer, dozens of ships, all faster than light, all ready for battle. Kai placed both hands on the control pad. The ancient UFO responded. Its wings extended, its shields hummed with deep energy. The ship spoke in its own voice. Weapons locked, defense system ready, engage or evade. Kai closed his eyes, then gave the order, evade, do not fire unless they fire first. The UFO turned, slipped through gravity folds, danced between stars like wind. The enemy followed. They fired without warning, beams of heat, missiles and plasma. The ancient UFO dodged, moved like a dream, but even dreams can bleed. A blast hit the rear wing, sparks flew. The ship groaned. Kai held the panel, his voice calm but burning. Repair systems activate, whole core. Sarai looked at him, her eyes filled with fear. Why do you not strike back? You could end them in seconds. Kai turned to her, his voice harder now. Because if I do, I become them. I become the lie they told. More ships appeared, a second fleet, but this one came not to attack. It flew beside the UFO. Old models, hidden vessels marked with human signs. They sent a signal, short, clear, you are not alone. Kai felt something rise inside him, not rage, not revenge, but fire, the fire of return. The enemy fleet paused, confused, uncertain, then a voice echoed across all frequencies. A council general, her voice strong, full of command. This human must surrender, the ship must be destroyed. It is a danger to all. Peace, Kai answered on the same channel, his voice shaking. The stars. Peace built on lies is not peace. Truth buried in fear is not truth. I carry the voices you tried to silence. I carry the name you tried to erase. I am Kai, pilot of the ancient ship, child of Earth, and I will speak. The enemy opened fire again, wider, faster, no mercy. Kai looked at Sarai, her face pale, her lips trembling. You must fight now. You must protect the ship. Kai turned to the control panel, but his fingers did not move. No, not yet. He pressed a symbol on the panel. A massive wave of energy burst from the ship. Not a weapon, a shield. It spread like a dome, blocking every shot. Every attack. The enemies kept firing, but nothing got through inside the UFO. The core responded, showing images, flashing memories. One memory showed Sarai years ago in front of the council, speaking against the plan to destroy human history. Kai looked at her. You tried to stop it. You were always with me. Sarai nodded. A tear rolled down her cheek. But I failed. I was too late. Kai reached for her hand. Then help me now. Together the ship spoke again. Signal broadcast ready, channel open. Kai stepped to the center, faced the main display, took a deep breath. To all worlds, to all peoples, this is not a warship. This is not a threat. This is a voice that was lost, but is now found. We were erased, but we are still here. We remember, we rise, and we ask one thing. Let the truth speak. The message ended. The fleet stopped. No more shots. No more order. Silence returned, but not empty silence, not fear. It was the silence before change. The stars stood still. The ancient UFO hovered between two fleets. One ready to destroy, one ready to protect, and in the middle a human pilot stood with fire in his eyes and a forgotten history in his heart. Kai turned from the broadcast panel. The silence outside felt louder than war. Every ship, every station, every world now knew the truth. Now heard the voice they buried long ago. Sarai stood close, her breath shallow, her hands trembling. She looked at Kai, then at the screen showing the enemy leaders, their faces hard, their silence deeper than weapons. One voice broke the quiet, a tone rough, tired. It belonged to the oldest member of the council, being called Valor. He had ruled for centuries. He had voted to erase Earth. He spoke now. Without pride, you were not supposed to remember. You were not supposed to rise. Your kind was fire. We feared that fire. We chose silence. Kai stepped forward, his voice calm, not shouting, not pleading. You feared the fire because it burned through lies. You buried peace because you wanted control. You destroyed trust to protect your name. Another screen lit up. More leaders appeared, some angry, some quiet, some unsure. One of them spoke, a voice Kai knew, a woman with skin like stone and eyes like night. She had once trained Sarai. She had once said humans were a disease. She looked at Sarai. Now you chose him over your blood. You chose a human over your council. Sarai stepped forward, her voice shaking but strong, because he is not the one who lied. Because he is not the one who killed. Because he is not the one who forgot honor. The woman looked cold, but her silence was not as sharp as before. Another screen blinked. A new voice spoke. A young alien officer from the Second Fleet. I was born after your war. One was told humans were myths, but now I see one flying the oldest ship. Now I hear words that sound true, so I ask, if he is not the enemy, then who is the First Fleet? Did not answer. Their weapons stayed silent, but their ships did not move. Kai took a deep breath. He turned to Sarai. Now comes the final moment. He pressed a command. The ancient UFO shifted its energy, formed a path, a light beam across space, leading back to Earth. The ship spoke coordinates, shared route, restored. Earth is no longer hidden. The path opened wide, bright, calling every human who still searched the stars, calling every ally who once stood beside them. The council leader stared, his voice full of fear and wonder. You are bringing them back. You are calling the scattered tribes. You are lighting a signal. They will all follow. Kai nodded yes, because the truth belongs to all. Because home is not just a place, it is a story, and we are still writing it. Sarai placed her hand on his shoulder, her voice soft. What else do you expect from me? Human Kai looked into her eyes, the same eyes that once tested him, teased him, stood against him, now filled with light. He smiled. I expect you to stand with me, to walk through the fire, not behind me, but beside. Mesh smiled back, not playful, Not proud, just real then. Let us walk together. Let us burn through the lies. The fleets began to shift. One ship turned, then another, weapons powered down. Engines warm, signals changed. A voice from the council whispered across space, "What have we done?" Another voice answered, "We buried the future, now we must dig it out." Kai watched them, not as a king, not as a god, but as a human, a pilot, a child of Earth, a keeper of memory. He turned the ship toward the path. The crewless ship felt full of voices, full of names, full of those who never got to speak. As they moved forward, stars lit the path like candles. Worlds turned their eyes toward them. Older eyes rose from shadows. Enemies paused to think, and deep inside the heart of the ancient UFO, the core pulsed with life. Kai closed his eyes. He saw faces from Seraphes. He heard their last words. He felt their hopes. He opened his eyes again. Let them come. Let them see. Let them remember. The ship moved faster, the path to Earth wide and shining. Behind him others followed, not as soldiers, but as witnesses, and far ahead, blue and green and small, waited a world forgotten by stars, but not by its children. Earth still, they're still waiting.